Carl Jung once said that the greatest tragedies of humanity happen when a person becomes a stranger to their own nature, and in modern relationships, that shadow grows larger every year. This story begins not in a battlefield, but in a marriage, a quiet American home. Two people who once loved each other deeply, Michael and Emily. They didn't fall apart suddenly. There was no betrayal, no explosive fight, no dramatic collapse. Instead, their relationship died slowly, quietly, through something far more common: competition. A kind of rivalry that no one talks about. A silent race neither of them signed up for. A drifting imbalance between masculine and feminine energy that unfolded day by day, conversation by conversation, until connection dissolved into tension. This is not just their story. It is the story of countless couples who don't understand why their relationships feel like endurance tests instead of emotional partnerships. Somewhere along the way, the meaning of love shifted from complementing each other to competing with each other. Michael tried. He really did. When he shared a stressful moment from work, Emily's response was immediate. "My day was worse." When he fixed something around the house, she'd say, "I could have done it myself." When he planned a date, she planned a bigger one, not to celebrate him, but to prove she didn't need him. She didn't know it, but every small correction, every tiny one-up, was carving a quiet wound into the relationship. It wasn't malice, it was fear. A fear many modern women carry. The fear of depending on someone. And for many men, the fear is different. They fear being unneeded. Humans don't compete with people they love. They compete with people whose approval feels tied to their worth. And in the silent hallways of their home, Michael and Emily slowly turned from partners into rivals without ever realizing they were playing a game no one wins. Neuroscience reveals something uncomfortable but real. Men and women process stress, connection, and validation differently. Men often stabilize through structure, clarity, purpose, and direction. Women often stabilize through connection, communication, and emotional flow. When a woman enters a competitive mode, the body shifts into a cortisol-driven, achievement-focused state. The emotional circuits responsible for bonding quiet down. When a man feels unnecessary, he shuts down, not from anger, but from resignation. As the weeks passed, Michael withdrew. No shouting, no blaming, just silence, and Emily grew more exhausted. Her competitiveness wasn't feeding her, it was draining her. Psychologists call this polarity collapse, when both partners adopt the same emotional energy and attraction dies, not because the love is gone, but because the difference that creates attraction has disappeared. A relationship without polarity is like a magnet with identical charges. The closer you push them, the more they repel. The night everything changed was painfully ordinary. Michael sat at the dining table, head bowed, hands clasped. Emily entered still in work mode, tense and armored by expectations she never asked for. She spoke first. "Why aren't you talking?" He looked up, eyes tired. "Because I don't feel like I matter here anymore." She froze, not because she didn't care, but because for the first time she saw the damage she didn't mean to cause. He wasn't leaving because he stopped loving her. He was leaving because the marriage no longer felt like love, and she wasn't devastated because she lost control. She was devastated because she finally realized what her armor had cost her. Some heartbreaks don't come from betrayal, they come from misunderstanding. Some separations don't come from lack of love. They come from lack of polarity, respect, softness, and emotional safety. As Michael walked out with his suitcase, Emily whispered softly, "I didn't mean to compete with you. I just didn't know how to be softer without feeling weak." And she wasn't alone. Modern society tells men they are toxic if they lead, and tells women they are weak if they soften. So both end up fighting their own nature and losing each other in the process. Time apart revealed truths neither expected. Michael discovered that his withdrawal wasn't weakness, it was survival. He needed purpose, direction, and a sense of masculine stability again. Emily discovered that her exhaustion wasn't failure, it was misalignment. She had been fighting her natural emotional intelligence, her softness, her intuition, qualities foundational to connection. She realized that strength isn't the armor, strength is the courage to remove the armor. Michael realized that a man doesn't need to be needed, he needs to feel valued. The healing wasn't magical or quick, but it was real. Michael rebuilt his sense of direction. Emily relearned the power of feminine softness. Both faced their childhood patterns, both studied their triggers, both grew, not to impress each other or save the relationship, but to finally honor who they were beneath society's expectations. And then came the most important lesson of all. Relationships don't thrive on sameness. They thrive on complementarity, not dominance, not submission, not hierarchy, polarity. Masculine energy stabilizes, feminine energy flows. When one leads with grounded purpose, the other flourishes with emotional richness. This isn't gender. This isn't culture. This is human biology, psychology, and thousands of years of evolution. Modern society treats men and women like identical beings with identical needs, but science shows something far deeper. Men seek respect, which opens their heart. Women seek emotional safety, which opens their soul. When both are honored, love becomes effortless. When both are ignored, love becomes extinct. Eventually, Michael and Emily met, again, not as broken halves, but as two whole people who finally understood themselves. They talked, not to fix the past, but to acknowledge it. They didn't rush back together. They didn't force harmony. They simply spoke the truth. We competed when we should have cooperated. We protected ourselves when we should have trusted. We tried to be the same, when the truth is, we were always strongest when we were different. No bitterness, no regret, just wisdom. If you're listening to this, you might see a piece of yourself in Michael. Tired of feeling unseen, unvalued, unnecessary. Or maybe you see yourself in Emily, wearing armor so long that you forgot who you were without it. The truth is simple. No one wins when lovers become rivals. No one grows when both partners fight their own nature. And no one finds peace in a relationship built on silent competition. Love is not a battlefield. It is a balance, a dance, a flow between polarity, purpose, softness, and strength. The strongest relationships aren't built by two identical people. They're built by two different people who choose understanding over ego, respect over rivalry, and partnership over pride. If there's one lesson this story offers, it's this. Stop trying to win in love. Start trying to connect. Because real connection doesn't need competition. It needs complement. It needs presence. It needs two humans willing to be open, honest, vulnerable, and real. And if this message reached you at the right moment, then make sure you subscribe to Stick and Mind Games and hit the notification bell so you never miss another deep psychological story that might change the way you love and the way you live.